The only reason why you could ask that question is you try to ration him.
She refused to get up early today.
I see the whole week.
The man blight me.
Not you see? And he said, oh, Chris, the next one you hear, we don't get these things.
The man blight me. Anyways, good morning, St. Vincent.
7 o'clock.
Speaking of blight, boy, I know you guys just use that phrase all the time about being poor is the biggest crime, but if you're living in poverty, is must feel like you're blight as well. Huh? What's the report? 1 in every 3 persons, according to the poverty report, lives in poverty. And
so let me break down what was said. Presenting the 2026 budget address to Parliament on Monday. I'm reading this from Eyewitness News. The Prime Minister said the assessment reveals a stark reality. Nearly 1 in 3 Vincentians, more than 33% of the population, are either already living in poverty or remain only a single paycheck or natural disaster away from falling into it. A critical truth made evident in the recent independent poverty assessment based on the official data and information from the 2018 Survey of Living Conditions and the 2023 Population and Housing Census is the silent crisis of poverty, Friday told Parliament. The Prime Minister said the cost of meeting even the most basic nutritional needs has risen sharply, with the indigence line now exceeding $3,642 per adult per year, or roughly $10 per day. Simply to eat adequately, and for households, the challenge is even more pronounced. Friday said that in 2024, an average family of 3 needed to spend a minimum of $1,898 monthly just to escape poverty, a threshold that continues to drift further out of reach as inflation steadily reduces the value of the dollar.
Okay.
What says you?
I
just did a quick calculation. So I know you also said that. Did Dr. Friday say that $1,900 is the base?
He said that in
the minimum.
He said in 2024. I'm not sure how this was derived, but he says an average family of 3 needed to spend a minimum of $1,898 monthly just to escape poverty. So basically, to have sufficient nutritional.
If you're catering for $10 a day per person in a 3-person home, that's $930 a month. Another $1,000 on the rest of the expenses.
Clothing, electricity.
Can you ain't talk about the miscellaneous yet, eh?
Transport
and all them things. You ain't talk about that yet, eh?
That sounds low.
Cleaning.
Sounds real low.
It's low.
But I will say there are some families probably surviving on that $1,900.
Yeah, man.
Because they had to cut it fine.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that there are people, maybe a mother and child, father and
or entire family
who are living on less than that.
Yeah. Because they have one breadwinner in the house and he ain't making that.
Which would beg to presume that they're not getting the nutritional intake that they're supposed to get. They are probably living in what we would term as poverty. Right? No? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I could see a lot of that.
1 in 3 in poverty or 1 paycheck away from poverty.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah, I could see that. I think even people who make significantly more than $1,900 are probably living paycheck to paycheck. That's probably on their own accord, but if you're still living 1 paycheck away from disaster, problems. I think it's very realistic. As a matter of fact, I think it's probably worse than they're saying.
I think
it's probably worse.
I think it's probably worse than what they're saying there. They're just buttering it up to make it sound.
Think of it this way: if you were making $2,000 a month, right? How much of that do you think you could save per month? Not a lot.
Not much.
Not much.
None.
So if you lost your job this month,
yeah,
how are you making it through to next month?
Yeah,
easy. Hey, good one, Jeannie. Good one, yeah, mate. Morning. Hey, morning.
Man, this thing is more serious than you think it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When you think there's so many kids on the street begging every minute for money, you think they really want to be on the street doing that? Some of them kids would rather be in school, but at the end of the day, they don't have it.
Yeah.
Parents don't have it. And you still have people in town paying people next to nothing, and these people have to get by.
Yeah.
I tired of this poverty thing for years now, and what are we doing about it? We just talk about it and then go under the rug, and then we start all over again another time.
No, but remember, we were led to believe, that we did not have poverty.
No, we
very
did
low.
not.
It was very low.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm self-employed, and I'm telling you, when I go into the supermarket, I just feel to cry sometimes for these kind of prices. I want to know how people who not earning a proper living making a trade in supermarket with the prices, the hiking prices.
And you self-employed, eh?
And I self-employed as a taxi driver.
Right.
And I am telling you, sometimes I just wonder how the average man making it, and it's a heartbreaking thing. But what you could do basically.
You see, I feel one of the reasons why this was never addressed because it was never seen as a problem. Remember,
I think it's a hard problem to fix.
No,
It's easier to ignore it.
You got to go back to the origins of when the UOP got in power.
right?
Is that they had recognized it, they had spoken about it,
Right.
they had campaigned on it,
Right.
and at the end of their first term, there was a poverty, maybe middle of the second term, that there was a poverty report, and remember in those days, the poverty assessment report was done by some regional body, and it had come out. There was a report done, and you could, and it showed that poverty had fallen, right? And the ULP campaigned on that forever, right? That was their whole thing, that they had
Poor people's
right.
government.
There are poor people. That's where that whole poor people's government kind of mantra came from, right? So it's all good. Politically, it was solid, right?
Until
Hence why I said
there was a report. Then you started getting other reports coming out saying this level of unemployment, right? So you started to question, if you have this much unemployment, right? And then clearly in the final nail in the coffin was the last poverty thing they did.
Which got shut down totally.
Which basically has shown that poverty has actually increased from when they took office.
Right.
Blowing the whole kind of script of poor people government. Because remember, right, if you're borrowing money but you're lowering poverty, I think a lot of us are sympathetic to that.
Going to a good cause.
You're going to a good cause. You're lifting people out of poverty. You're getting children out of poverty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? Even if it comes with a
debt burden,
a fairly high debt burden, you'll tolerate it, right?
Right.
Because it would appear to have gone to a good cause. Then you see that it hasn't made any difference on poverty, and actually poverty's gone up. In actual fact, some of the policies that they've implemented may have actually increased poverty, right? Which is essentially the start of the downfall of the ULP, because the propaganda and the reality no longer mesh.
Morning.
Look, how much millions did they give you over the past 4 years in concessions to the rich boys with the Jamaican accent and others?
Well, we don't know exactly where it went, and we're waiting to hear where that went, but it's significant. It's massive. It's massive.
Exactly. So imagine if they did get some of that, if they get a percentage of that revenue from them and invest that into industries.
Well,
about poverty.
Well, it's not just that.
I don't know.
It's not just that, though, right? It's this kind of loose distribution of, like, this personalized distribution of building materials, etc., which in theory should benefit people in poverty, right?
Not the way they do it.
But not the way they do it, because it is so kind of ad hoc. It is so partisan. Rather than being institutionally, right? Like, if all of us built a house together, it would be cheaper than us building it individually.
Right.
Right? And the government hasn't used the kind of the power of mass. It's done this kind of ad hoc to galvanize for you that, you know what I mean? Not necessarily based on needs and things.
Yeah. Morning.
Morning.
Right.
This poverty thing is a touchy thing, eh?
Very.
Because I know people who don't get a paycheck. People in the community helping them to stay alive.
Yeah.
You understand? And look, 2026, and we still have a trade.
Yep.
But one part I really missed with the thing yesterday. It's not Mayhem, this program in name.
Mm-hmm.
How it come to full program. I thought you don't listen. You understand?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Another point, Luke. When you left with the mandate, what they said, now you abandoned the job. So how all of a sudden, a lot of you came back to work and you get your retirement.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's how you play the system. Man.
Yeah.
Listen, again, right? And go back to what we talk about on the poverty thing. Again, the reason why it is like this now is because it was never addressed or seen as a problem. When it started bust out, that the maths
It was hidden.
the government of the day made a conscious effort to shut it down.
Yeah.
So it was, and it goes back to what I'm saying. You just went down the diplomatic road, but raw talk is raw talk. It was not seen as a problem by them. So it was never addressed.
Well, it
was seen as a problem in the beginning to get you in the chair.
No, but
it
it
was
was seen as a political problem when they realized that the figures weren't in their favor.
Right. And then what you do?
Which leads us to Jagger's point that poverty is difficult to fix.
Well,
is.
It can.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Yeah, you can fix that.
We seem to have, right? If I go off just anecdotal conversations with people, we heard Clear Harbor trying to employ 200 people. We've heard the construction industry needing people and can't find people, right? The failure of the ULP is that maybe on the one hand that they had triggered this thing with the airport and maybe like a tourism growth, but they hadn't prepared the population to take advantage of it.
Right.
So contractors and things are looking for people, can't find them because we haven't developed the skills needed. Chefs and things are needed, but we can't find them because the previous government, while building the airport, didn't take the opportunity to start training people.
And don't think that things like not fixing the transport system don't affect poverty, because they do.
Yeah, it does.
Because let's look at a system.
If I can't get around,
look at a system like Barbados, where it's now $3.50 on a government bus to anywhere, any route. Right. If I'm living in the areas where the reports say poverty is highest, which is the northern areas,
$7-8 into town,
$10
into
I
town.
can't do it every day.
You can't do it.
I can't do it every day. So
your
literally,
your salary, if you're getting $50 a day, and you're spending $20 on transport alone,
crap will smoke your pipe.
how are you going to do it? If the jobs are down in the south,
Yeah.
right, or on the Leeward side, and I'm living in Sandy Bay,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it's costing me $10 just to get into town,
And then another.
maybe another three or four if I have to go
4,
down
yeah.
by Sandals Way.
I do that every day,
I'm not
twice a day.
I'm not coming out with anything.
Morning. Morning.
Chris,
Hey.
you remember in Trinidad, you could go what you call a bus pass.
Yeah.
So if you can't afford, you could
Ride the bus. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and all that is a form of alleviating poverty out of the system.
Mhm.
No, but it's a good point though, right? We've been on about this transport thing for eons, right? And we've taken it from different angles, the unruliness of it, the loudness of it, the inability to travel
What about the
inconvenient
economic
times,
impact?
but also the economic impact. Is it a coincidence that the north of the country is the poorest?
Can't afford it. I can't afford it. It doesn't make sense. I'm just working to get to work.
Yeah.
That don't make sense.
When we come back.
You're gonna do some commercials.
Remember, Captain Lana's AIA is open. Open for lunch, open for breakfast, open for dinner. What else you got? You got something else going on
Boy,
today?
it's Valentine's, Mr. Love.
Valentine's, Mr. Lover Lover.
Mr. Lover, Mr. Lado. What's better than a romantic 3-course dinner for you and your loved ones at Diamond Terrace? Roll out the red carpet from 7 p.m. and indulge in a sumptuous Valentine's meal.
Nice.
Elegant ambience and unforgettable moments. Then from 10 p.m., the night turns up at Captain Lano's in Villa, where the drinks flow, the lights glow, and the vibes get so wet.
Huh?
It's so wet, you just can't behave yourself.
Wait, what are we talking about?
No, it's not, because I just fixed the roof. The one night, two vibes, endless memories, Diamond Terrace, let's eat, Captain Lano's, let's get wet.
Let's get it on.
Okay.